out just experimenting with, what time people are on and when I'm in flow and where it fits into my day. I usually do the morning, but hey, give it a shot this afternoon. I was all up in the mix with clients today and with creation today and working on some awesome shit I'm about to drop on you soon. But anyway, let me get to the meat and potatoes here. So last night I had the beautiful opportunity to go to the Cadre quarterly event called University. This is the business owner, thought leader, CEO, executive, blah, 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 badass, whoever, local community that I'm a part of that I really enjoy. I just get so much out of it. And the founders of it, Derek and Melanie, just constantly deliver amazing value. They're an extraordinary example of what's possible in community creation and in value creation. They're always bringing it. So yesterday they brought us Ryan Holiday, the man, the myth, the legend, the dude who's one of the best sellers. He's 32 years old, and he's written some really profound books that have changed the way that a lot of people in athletics and high performance, as well as business, have looked at life and strategy for being and creating. So his books, Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy, and this latest book, Stillness is the Key, are profound. And they're really touching on deep ancient wisdom. Wisdom of the philosophies of the Stoics, of some Buddhist philosophy, of course, and of what I really think is just a huge way of bridging lots of old Eastern ancient philosophy with current modern day living. He's done an amazing job. He's a wonderful writer, journalist, etc. And so he's giving his talk on the latest book, Stillness is the Key. And I could do several videos on what he was teaching about the ways to cultivate stillness and why stillness is important and why it's not just, sitting on a rock meditating. That's not the kind of stillness he's talking about. He's talking about the capacity to actually take time, to take space, for us to learn to think and to be with ourselves and to be able to make great decisions and be wonderful leaders in times of turmoil, uncertainty, or when the stakes are high. And so there's opportunity for question and answer at the end. And I love Obstacles the Way, and I love the teachings of Stoicism, but what I've also noticed is that one of the main masks that men wear that keep them from creating great lives, from evolving, one of the things that keep men dangerous in this world is emotional stoicism, the stoic mask, meaning that they never want to show, feel, express, or talk about emotions. And what I really notice, not in anyone I work with or not in the people that I tend to hang with in men's community, is that there's a lot of people online, especially in online men's groups, men's forums, Facebook groups, where men are actually saying that the answer is to be less emotional, is to just use logic, is to disconnect from emotion, is to not worry much about what you're feeling or what people are feeling, is to be stoic, to not react, right? It's like, don't think about why you're sad, go build a shed or whatever. That's my judgmental characterization, caricature of this mentality. But essentially, people are using the popularization of Stoicism as a way to distance themselves from the deep work of emotional maturity, emotional development. And I see it as a big problem. And so I asked Ryan directly, since I have the chance, hey Ryan, here's what I see happening, right? The work you do is badass, but men are often using the popularization of Stoicism to be an excuse to distance themselves from doing the deep work to become emotionally competent, emotionally intelligent, and have emotional mastery. So what would you say to those men? So I'm paraphrasing, I'm going to butcher his answer, but essentially he said the same damn thing that I would say, that Stoicism is actually about emotional mastery. It's not about stuffing, repressing, or distancing your emotions. It's not about disconnecting from emotions. It's exactly what I often teach people, which is to actually get more deeply connected to our emotions and to use mindfulness to create the capacity for us to feel our emotion and access our intuition and use them as data and information so that we're not actually overtaken by emotion, so we're not driven around or led around by emotion. The great Stoics, as he said, felt a lot, and they talked about feeling a lot, and they experienced trauma and grief and anger and joy and pleasure, and they had deep experiences of emotion. And in fact, the message in Stoicism is not to be stoic in the sense that you don't feel or express emotion. The message is to actually learn what your emotions mean, create the capacity to feel them, to create the capacity to be emotionally connected to the people around you that you want to love and lead, and to learn to adopt patience, to create a pause between the stimulus that stirred your emotion and the very conscious reaction. So at the end of the day, it's about emotional mastery and emotional competency. One of the things I teach people is we go into a deep pocket of work around emotional competency. We look at their emotional imprinting. We look at their expression of emotion. We dig into the intellectual understanding, the scientific proof about what emotions tend to indicate for us, at least those of us in like Western value systems. And we look at how we can learn to dissect and understand the emotion within ourselves and others, and what action can be taken when we're feeling and experiencing an emotion, as well as how to communicate emotion without it being an overly emotional communication where we're just pulled away and taken outside of our own integrity. So that's what Ryan had to say about this, that at the end of the day, men who are great leaders, men who are great lovers, men who are great fathers, men who are great community members, men who make a difference in this world, they've actually developed extraordinary emotional mastery, which is not emotional repression. It's not emotional constipation. It's not shutting down of our emotional experience. It's actually deepening into our emotional experience so we can learn to be powerfully human. Powerfully human. So that's my take on his take on that question. I hope it's helpful. If it is, drop a little emoji or a comment. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.